It's halftime here at Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California. 44-7. The Los Angeles Rams leading the Green Bay Packers, and we're going to take a look at some of the highlights. A lot of fireworks. We'll start it out. This is going to be a 33-yard touchdown pass from Vince Ferragamo to Bill Waddy that put the Rams on the scoreboard.
And again, we'll see this. This is where he ran a corner pattern. He starts to the inside. The Green Bay Packer defenders were playing inside technique. He sold the fact he was going to the post, came back to the corner.
That was at the 8:53 mark of the first quarter. And now we come back as Cullen Bryant will make it 16-0.
And when he gets leaned over about that 3-yard line, he weighs 235 pounds and as strong as a bull. There's no way stopping that guy. And then he has a nice little dance after it's all over.
Not got to label that thing, John.
Yeah.
Can you come up with something?
He probably has.
Now we come back to where the Packers started to make a move. This will be a 46-yard pass completion from Lynn Dickey to Eddie Lee Ivory.
And on that play, Lynn Dickey had a little time. Again, it was after a first down pass. He came back, threw on second down, hit Ivory inside about a 7-yard hook. Ivory just ran through and passed everyone.
That was a highlight. Then all of a sudden the Packers are moving again. Now watch this. Dickey throws against the grain, and Johnny Johnson, the #1 draft pick from Texas, goes 99 yards the other direction.
Did you say that was $1 million run?
It is.
Well, it's a nice one. I don't know if it's worth $1 million, but I'm sure that helps a player like Johnny Johnson. It gives him the start, you know, and he needed that.
That made it 24-7. Then Elvis Peacock made it 30-7 with this 1-yard run off of a big block by Cullen Bryant.
He sure did, and that's the thing that Cullen Bryant does. He not only runs with authority, but he also blocks with authority.
Now watch this to Willie Miller. Mike McCoy will get a hand on the ball, but that's not enough.
That's the one where Mike McCoy had no help. It was a dogging or blitzing situation. He had Miller inside out, got his hand on the ball, touchdown.
That was a 29-yarder. Then Bill Troop coming in for the injured Lynn Dickey had this one picked off by Rod Perry, and Perry, not to be outdone by his teammate Johnny Johnson, took this one 83 yards, and the Rams ended up with 37 points in the second quarter, second highest in their history.
And we saw Bill Troop get blocked right there just before Perry broke away, and we hope that he's all right.
And so that's where it is right now. The Rams with a commanding 44-7 lead. The second half in a moment.
Thank you very much.
Just imagine if everyone drove a car like the Honda Civic DX, there'd be more room on the freeways. There'd be more space to park. And we'd probably all use less gas. The Honda Civic DX, it could make life a lot simpler.
Honda, we make it simple.
I'll tell you, I was a born soccer player. Did everything with my feet. Took out the rubbish with my feet, made the bed with my feet, drove my mum crazy. But I finally found something I enjoy doing with my hands, drinking light beer from Miller. Light has 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. It's less filling, but what really makes me happy is the taste. It's terrific. Now, my mum should be happy too. Look, Mum, no feet.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
You're doing okay, Melanie. That's it. Don't be afraid. That's it. Hi, I'm Larry McCarron of the Green Bay Packers, and this is my wife, Becky. What a great place to bring kids.
Both Larry and I have worked with retarded children. We know how it feels to be a volunteer.
Come on, we'll show you. There you go. Here at the Curative Workshop and Rehabilitation Center, an agency United Way supports, these handicapped and retarded citizens are getting the therapy they need.
And job skills, so they can be self-sustaining. And these volunteers are making it happen.
But what they give is only a small fraction of what they get back in personal satisfaction.
But this guy's doing fantastic.
Believing in the United Way means you want to see everyone get a chance at life, regardless of handicap.
United Way works here because people care.
And thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding message was furnished as a public service by the National Football League.
You look at the twin safeties back now for the Packers as we're ready to start the second half. Mike McCoy and Andre Thompson, and surprisingly, Frank Corral's going to kick off. He took 2 steps and hit it. He didn't even run up to the ball.
I was surprised they lined up that deep.
Here is Mike McCoy, and McCoy's fumbled the ball, and at the 32-yard line, a scramble. McCoy losing the football, but I believe Green Bay pounced on it. The Packers have the ball. Coming up with it was Jim Gaino, who's doing a good job on the special teams. The Packers have it at the 32, trailing 44-7. Lynn Dickey will be the quarterback. Here's Gaino. He's a young man who played his collegiate football at Tulane. 9th-round draft pick in '76. So Green Bay has a lot of ground to make up. Andre Thompson, James Lofton, who we haven't heard from in this football game, at the wide receivers. Eddie Lee Ivory, Steve Atkins. Atkins at the fullback spot. Eddie Lee Ivory trying to find some running room to the 35. That'll be a gain of 3. 2nd down and 7. Making the stop, Cody Jones and Johnny Johnson.
Again, coming out this second half, Gary, I think they just want to get started. They have to bring Lynn Dickey back in. He had the back spasms, and look at those statistics. That really tells a story. Yards rushing 110, passing 179, 289 total yards to 66 for the Packers.
This is Atkins, Steve Atkins, and Atkins out to the 41. That's close to a first down. Atkins and Ivory, the men who a year ago they had such high hopes for. Atkins, their 2nd-round pick. Ivory, their number 1 pick. Both of them fell by injuries. Ivory in the first game of last year. Changes, Lofton going out, Andre Thompson going out. They're going to get 2 tight ends in now on this 3rd down and less than a yard to go.
Now this is the situation where the Rams counter the 2 tight ends with 5 defensive linemen. They line up a defensive lineman, Youngblood on the left, Fred Dreyer on the right on the 2 tight ends.
John Thompson is the other tight end, second-year man from Utah State. 3rd down, a short yard to go. The Packers would like to establish this offense right away, and they're giving to Atkins, and he has the first down to the 45. And that time, Packers did a very good job blocking that play.
They did. They controlled the line of scrimmage. And again, the one thing that you can't do is you can't allow any penetration. It looks like the Ram defense didn't get any penetration. They had a little bubble on that right side. They get some pretty good movement, and they were able to get in for the first down, as we see it here. See the movement they got on the man that lined up over the center.
Greg Cook did a good job. Number 68. He's the man that Bart Starr is very, very high on. A 4th-year man from Arkansas. First down now at the 45 as you look at Lynn Dickey. To Eddie Lee Ivory. Ivory across the 45 to the 47. Jim Youngblood made the stop. Ivory out of Georgia Tech. Fine running back, coming back from that knee operation. Top of the show, he feels that, and said that he likes that halfback spot as opposed to the fullback spot.
He does. It'll give him more of an opportunity to carry some plays that are designed to go to the tight end side. Usually the fullback gets plays to the weak or open side. The halfback gets him to the tight end side.
2nd down, 8 yards to go. That's Cochran on a change in direction motion. Dickey with time to throw. And, oh, what a shot. Lofton really hit that time. The collision, Cromwell coming over. Also an assist from Pat Thomas. And that's one of the few times they've tried to go to number 80.
That's right, and I think that he's an important part of the pass offense for the Green Bay Packers. He's had a bad ankle, and he really hasn't been able to run or practice. Bart said that he had a tough time in practice yesterday. And if they can't get the ball to James Lofton, then they're in for a long day.
Lofton, of course, played at Stanford. He's close to home, and both times that he's come out here on the West Coast to play football games, he's been hurt. Seeing action now. 3rd down, 8 yards to go. Dickey with time again. Now trying to run, and Dreyer's got him. Freddie Dreyer, a man who you recruited in college at San Diego State.
I recruited Fred 15 years ago.
You're not that old.
Yeah, well, he is. He's that old. But I told Fred, I said, he weighed the same thing. He weighed about 220 pounds, and that's what he weighs today. I said, Fred, you'll come to San Diego State, you'll play, we'll get you bigger, you'll be 270 pounds, you'll be an all-pro. He's an all-pro, but he still weighs 220 pounds.
Beverly to kick. Leroy Irvin back for the Rams. Fine kick. Beverly has punted extremely well in this game. And inside the 10, Irvin with the football. He has a little running room out to the 19 and knocked out of bounds. 49-yard kick that time by Beverly, who earlier in the game was able to hit one 53 yards in distance. And so the Rams, with that 44-7 lead, have the football for the second time in the second half.
American cars guzzle gas. American cars are all style and no substance. American cars don't last. To all that, American Motors says nuts. This American Motors Concorde and this Spirit are built to be more than just good looking. They're tough. Tougher than ever before. The only American cars with galvanized steel and 100% of the exterior body panels. That's right, 100%. And Concorde and Spirit are more fuel efficient than ever before. This Concorde actually gives you better mileage than Chevy Citation. Only the tough Americans give you Z-Bard factory rust protection and a full 5-year no rust through warranty.
Tough can be beautiful.
Plus the exclusive American Motors Buyer Protection Plan, still with the best economy car warranty coverage in the industry. Concorde and Spirit, for good-looking high-mileage cars, don't sell the tough Americans short. Concorde and Spirit, built to last, from American Motors.
He came to serve his country and went on trial for murder. Brad Davis in an all-star cast based on a true story, A Rumor of War, a special movie presentation Wednesday.
Mad Fred. We had a very animated conversation with him yesterday. He had some interesting thoughts about playing a long time, didn't he?
He really did. Playing a long time and playing when you're tired.
He thinks you play better when you're a little tired.
Right.
Ryan, Elvis Peacock, the running backs. After that punt was carried out to the 19-yard line. Colin Bryant, and he draws the crowd at the 23-yard line. I was curious about something just a little bit ago. On that play where Irvin fielded the punt inside the 10. What's the rule? What's the rule of thumb back there? When do you let those go?
The rule that we always had is we would line the punt returner up on the 10-yard line. If the ball went over his head, he let it go. If the ball came to him on the 10 or in front of him, he would return it.
Should he have let that one go?
He should have let that one go.
From the 24-yard line, second down now, 5 yards to go. In motion, Billy Waddy. Straight up the middle comes Colin Bryant. Bryant close to the 30-yard line and very close to a first down. And this is what the Rams did early in the football game. They just started coming right at this Green Bay team. As you saw the stats in that first half, they had 110 yards rushing. The big thing, 4 interceptions, 2 for touchdowns. From the 29, first down. Waddy split to the bottom of the screen. Denard to the top. Bryant and Elvis Peacock, the running backs. Ferragamo to Denard. Preston Denard hit immediately by McCoy. Good reaction that time by Mike McCoy out of Colorado, fifth-year man. And that's going to bring up a second down.
That's one thing that the Packers do have. Their two cornerbacks, Mike McCoy and Estes Hood, are very aggressive, and they don't play off. They don't get where they're afraid that they're going to get beat deep. They get up and play aggressive the whole game.
Brings up second down, 6 yards to go. 10 minutes remaining in this third quarter. 44-7 the Rams. Colin Bryant, Dennis Harrow with a big block to the 40. He pulls his way to the 45-yard line. Boy, Dennis Harrow threw a super block on Michael Hunt, and that gave the corner to Bryant, and he took over from there.
He pulled, he just looked like he was waiting. See, it's a little counter play. He takes the counter to let Harrow get up front. Once he sees that block, he just turned on. He looked like a different person. And now that's what you talk about in finishing off a run.
Boy, when you're 5'11", carry 236 pounds, I guess you can't finish a run off. It's like a fire plug out there.
And that's a strong 230 pounds.
Across the 45, a first down for the Rams. Ferragamo to Bryant again. Bryant trying to find a little crease, but nothing doing that time. Mike Douglas over there to make the stop. Also good pressure that time by Charles Johnson, number 99, the nose tackle.
Mike Douglas played that one. Mike Douglas played that one very well. When they start a sweep here, as we see Charlie Johnson, the nose tackle, he gets penetration. See, so there's no cutback. The one thing, when the ball goes away, that the nose tackle has to do is not allow the cutback, which he did, and then Mike Douglas played on the outside very well.
Second down, virtually 10 yards to go. Ferragamo, excellent protection. Billy Waddy is wide open, but he's out of bounds. Waddy had beaten Estes Hood, but to catch that one, he had to be in the nickel bleachers. But again, a very excellent effort by Waddy, who shows his ability to get open on a play.
I was just saying how aggressive the Green Bay Packer corners played. Estes Hood was up there tight, and again, Billy Waddy ran right by him. There's one thing here that I really don't like is they don't have a border on the sidelines, and I think that could be from the far hash mark. Vince Ferragamo cannot see that sideline.
That's a good
As we look
point.
at the border there, usually they have the border between where the coach was standing and the sideline.
That's a border that's quite wide and painted white. Of course, they're still playing baseball here. Maybe they haven't been able to do it. This is Joel Thomas, a rookie from San Jose State. A little pass to the 50-yard line. Mike Douglas has been making a handful of tackles, and that will stop this Ram drive, bringing up fourth down. As Mark Lee now is going back for this punt. There is Thomas. Thomas had a good game against Tampa Bay, picking up 64 yards. He played at UCLA behind Wendell Tyler, then transferred to San Jose State.
He had a fine career at San Jose State. Then he put on a little weight in the offseason, and there was concern at the time he was drafted.
In fact, in that Senior Bowl, he weighed in at 244 pounds. Now
like
he's
a
down.
guard.
Corral to kick. 8.5 minutes left. Bad snap this time. Doug Smith, the man snapping the ball. Fine kick by Corral. Lee's going to let it hit. And so that will bring it out to the 20. That's a 51-yard kick by a man that's hobbling around on this football field like he's not going to make it back to the bench. But evidently it doesn't affect your punting, as evidenced by that one.
You know, I happen to tell my Allstate agent about how everything I have two of.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad.
Like 2 cars, he asked. Maybe Allstate's 2-car discount can save you money on insurance. I compared. Allstate saves me more. I can use the money.
Noah, dinner.
One wife.
Compare. Allstate's multi-car discount may save you more money. You're in good hands with Allstate.
And that's a promise from us, the good hands people.
You know, it's amazing how similar we are. We have the same last name.
And we both played baseball for the same team.
We even drank the same beer, light beer from Miller.
And we drink it for the same reason. Light has a third less calories than their regular beer.
And it's less filling.
But we drink it because it tastes so great.
Now, I know we're incredibly alike, but don't be confused. We are not identical twins.
I'm at least 2 inches taller than he is.
Like beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Well, Frank Corral, the 51-yard kick. He's got an injury, but he's not letting that bother him at all.
No, they love that because then they get to go to the training room and get treatment like the rest of the players.
They're welcomed in there, right, with an injury. So after that kick on the touchback, bringing it out to the 20, Lynn Dickey at quarterback gives off to Steve Atkins, and there's not going to be any gain on that play. In particular, Bob Brzezinski was over there. You know, the thing about this Los Angeles team that they keep stressing, John, is that they want to keep filtering in new faces, keep stockpiling the draft choices, have a nice mix of veterans and young people. Boy, this team really has that, doesn't it?
And they've done a great job. Don Klosterman, Jack Faulkner, they've done a great job of that because they know really what it takes. They're always looking for big, strong guys and speed.
No gain on that last play. We have an injury report on Bill Troop. We'll give that to you in just a moment. Paul Kaufman goes in motion from the 20-yard line. Dickey moving around pretty well, but he threw it inside. Nolan Cromwell, 5th interception of the day for the Rams. Cromwell inside to the 14-yard line. Eddie Lee Ivory made the stop. That'll give us time to tell you we have a report on Bill Troop. The x-rays taken of Troop looking at a neck injury were negative. He has been taken to the Green Bay dressing room for further observation.
We sure hope everything is all right there as we see this interception here. Again, usually when you have to start to scramble, that throws a pattern off, and you see a lot of interceptions in those situations.
The Toyota Celica Super is life in the fast lane that's almost beyond belief. But the Super is not the only way to join the fast crowd. There's a now classic sporty Celica GT Coupe and the GT Liftback. And for those who would like a sporty Celica for a little less money, there's the ST, the lowest price Celica. To find out which one's for you, drive a Celica. Then just trust your feelings. A Celica selection.
Well, set for a comfortable evening? I hope so. Then you should be wearing comfortable slacks, like Hager Magic Stretch.
All right.
It's the Hager Expandomatic waistband and special stretch woven fabric of today's Dacron.
Terrific.
They won't squeeze your budget either. In Hager Magic Stretch, you'll feel as good as you look.
What more could a man ask for?
Well...
Nice of you to pop in, my dear.
Next Saturday, the U.S. goes wheel to wheel with the world's best in the World Team Speedway Championships from Poland. Next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
So after the 5th interception of the day for Los Angeles, they have the ball, and we have a baton twirler here putting on quite a show. There's Lynn Dickey. And a tough day for this young man from Kansas State. At the 15-yard line, Vince Ferragamo at the 7:28 mark of the third quarter, trying to add to their advantage. Dickey with 3 interceptions today. Ferragamo back. Denied. Touchdown. Did he get it or not?
Yes,
he did. Boy, that was quite a move. Denard, it looked like Johnny wasn't going to hang on. I got to see this one again.
No, it did. It was a great move, though, before he caught the ball. And that's the 3rd time that they got that pattern for a touchdown. Again, it's a corner, and we'll see it up here. It's a corner pattern. He'll start to the inside, again, like he's going to the post, and then break to the outside. The Green Bay Packer corners, again, are playing an inside technique. But on that one, Mike McCoy overreacted to the corner, and the ball was thrown over his inside shoulder.
He almost did drop it, though. Did you see that? It got away from his body for a moment, and on the second effort, came away with that. Showed me such quick hands. Boy, that Denard, what a free agent find he has been for this Ram football team. 50-7 our score. Point after attempt by Terrell makes it 51-7. As Vince Ferragamo having a big day, as are the Los Angeles Rams. 5 interceptions in this game. The most that the Packers have had in one game was 8. That was back in 1948.
If you had driven along
the Canon NP80 puts you in touch with the age of micronics. An ingenious combination of microcomputer, optics, and electronics expertise. Extremely fast and reliable, the Canon NP80 makes 32 letter-sized copies a minute on plain paper, up to 11 by 17, with exceptional copy quality.
Look into the NP80 at your Canon dealer and get in touch with the age of micronics.
Monday, Lou Grant, the Emmy Award-winning series premieres with an all-new episode. Be sure and watch Ed Asner as Lou Grant, premiering Monday at 10, 9 Central and Mountain.
Well, it looks like we'll have a new quarterback when the Rams get the ball again. Jeff Rutledge warming up on the sideline. This is Mike McCoy going to bring this kickoff back for the Packers to the 20. He's hit by Walt Arnold and also Carl Piker. Struggles across the 25. Wait a minute, the ball loose again. They're motioning. I think the Packers still have it.
That's a ploy. You know, you always teach your special team guys to go downfield, and when they make the tackle, as there is a scramble for ball, stand up and point that way, because sometimes the official may need some help, and if he does, then you're there to give it to him.
You've always given a lot of help, I've noticed, to those officials.
And I used to teach my players to do it.
You never said much. You were so relaxed on the sideline. Very quiet, composed, under control.
I'm not relaxed up here.
First down at the 26. 51-7. Rams on top. Dickey up to Turdell Middleton. And Middleton to the 28-yard line. Over there was Pat Thomas. You know, something that's always interested me, John, is they talk about cornerbacks have to be tall. Well, look at these two guys for the Rams. You got Thomas and Perry, who are both 5'9".
You know what they have to be? They have to be good. They have to be quick. They have to be fast. and they have to be great athletes. And it really doesn't have that much to do with their size. If they're good, it doesn't make any difference what their size is.
Hey, look at that.
17-7. Art Whittington just made a big run. 42-yard touchdown.
Oakland losing to Toughlin in overtime last week to San Diego. Dickey on target to Paul Kaufman. And Kaufman has the first down out to the 39-yard line. Kaufman, one of those free agent finds. 56 catches a year ago. He was the guy that Bart Starr was telling us that just begged Coach John Meyer for a tryout. They went in to look at Gary Spaney, the linebacker for Kansas City. Said, hey, Coach, what about me? And here he is in Green Bay.
And he wouldn't take no for an answer. You know, because now I come down to see someone else. He said, well, let me show you something. Finally said, if he's, you know, that persistent, let's give him a shot.
That was a good move by the Packers. Atkins, he might have gotten the yard, and that's all. Hacksaw Reynolds, Jack Reynolds from the middle linebacking spot, making that tackle. Bring up second down, still virtually 10 yards to go.
You know, we talked about the defensive line, but we didn't talk about those linebackers too much, and they're just an extension of it. You think Jack Reynolds in the middle, Bob Brzezinski, who's had a fine year last year, and then, of course, on the other side, Jim Youngblood. Those three linebackers, along with the four linemen, they work very well as a unit.
This Ram team has been tough on the Packers. They've won 8 of the last 9. Today, 51-7 lead. Kaufman comes in motion. Dickey with a blitz. Oh, he just disappeared that time. He had no chance whatsoever. Nolan Cromwell blitzing from that safety spot.
You know, we'll see it again. Again, Ray Malavasi loves to blitz. He always did. You see, not only does he have the blitz and the safety coming, he had a stunt in the line. Cody Jones came across where the two tackles crossed, and they didn't pick up Cody Jones.
At the 35, that'll bring up now third down, 14 yards to go. San Diego leading Denver, and the Chargers going to move out to a 3-0 record. I thought they might have a tough time after that emotional win over Oakland last week. We have a new center now for the Packers. Mark Norman, the second-year man from Kansas, is in there. This is Turdell Middleton. Middleton a couple of years ago, a 1,000-yard gainer for the Packers. Bringing it out to the 41. Johnny Johnson with a tackle, and it's fourth down.
You know, Nolan Cromwell missed that tackle. They had their 5 defensive backs in. When they go to that, Cromwell is really the middle linebacker, and he was disgusted with himself. He hit his fist into the dirt, you know, and I think that is a real sign of a competitor. Here they have 51-7, and the guy still feels concerned when anything goes wrong.
11 should say 10 men up on that line as they're going to put a return on. They did not rush Beverly, who continues to just really pace the football. Beautiful kick, and that's going to go out of bounds at around the 5-yard line. Beverly averaging over 48 yards a kick, and that time he placed it on the 6-yard line. And you see Jeff Rutledge, he'll be taking over at quarterback. 54-yard kick that time by Beverly.
You take 1,000 hearts up here with you. Make them skip a beat. Then take them back down to Miller time. Time for the best tasting beer you can find. America's quality beer.
When it's time to relax,
Miller High Life.
one beer stands clear. If you've got time, we've got the beer.
Just imagine if everyone drove a car like the Honda Civic DX, there'd be more room on the freeways. There'd be more space to park. And we'd probably all use less gas. The Honda Civic DX. It could make life a lot simpler.
Honda, we make it simple.
Los Angeles Ram cheerleaders, and John, I know you noticed this, but they have new cheerleading uniforms this year.
I don't even watch that.
Oh, come on now. Silicones from the 6-yard line after that fine kick by Beverly. Rutledge knocked to Gerald Thomas, nothing. Good reaction that time by Green Bay, in particular John Anderson. Here is Rutledge. He's 6'2", a 202-pounder out of Alabama. He did start one game last year. That was against the Chicago Bears when they had injuries to both Ferragamo and Hayden. 9th-round draft pick. Saw action in 3 games totally in 1980. Hayden, by the way, is not going to be back for another 3 or 4 weeks. so they signed Bob Lee this week also. So they have Lee, Rutledge, and Ferragamo on the active list. Hayden is up in the press box. Rutledge is coming out for Koeman. And Koeman out to the 11, possibly the 12-yard line. Well, that'll bring up a third down.
I'm sure Hayden would love to be down on the field now at this day and see what's been going on down there.
One thing about it, when you're winning, everybody wants to be part of it, right?
Right. I think one thing to do here is to really press by the Packer defense. They ought to go blitz and go all out. They have a new quarterback, and it's a chance maybe to get some field position and make something happen.
Third down, 4. A little delay that time to Thomas, and Douglas has it. So that'll bring up 4th down. Los Angeles to kick the football. We have 2:44 remaining in this third quarter. You just joined us. The Rams with a 51-7 lead, scoring 37 of those points in the second quarter. 5 interceptions on the day. Mark Lee will go back for this punt from number 3, Frank Correll. Look at that average of 25.5. How can that be with a punt of 51 yards?
He had the first one blocked.
That's right.
And that goes against his average.
And he will be kicking from the end zone. Good snap. And a beautiful kick. Lee back to the 35. He's got a block from Estes Hood, but that's not going to spring him loose. 52-yard kick. I'll tell you what, Correll is kicking the ball as well as he's ever kicked it. Last year he was not the Rams punter. He was just the place kicker. They decided to go with him in the punting department. He hasn't punted since college, but he hasn't forgotten how.
He may want to keep that left leg hurt all the time. He was telling me yesterday that he still doesn't feel comfortable doing both, but he says in 2 or 3 weeks that he thinks he'll have this thing figured out and he'll feel comfortable in both.
However, the injury could slow him down.
Yes,
right?
it could.
From the 36, first down. Harlan Hucklebee's in the backfield now, along with Gary Ellis. That's Kaufman in motion. Dickey to throw. Dickey shaking off that back spasm pretty well. Breaks loose somehow, got away, and brings it up to the 35. Phil Murphy hit him in the backfield. He spun away from him, and then Reggie Doss dropped him at the 35. He's back to the original line of scrimmage.
He's really having a tough time moving here. And one of the people that really matured as a result of those 4 players being out is Reggie Doss. And they think that he's going to be the next top defensive lineman for the Los Angeles Rams. That's a great athletic move. You see him stretch out on that?
Alaska, Wisconsin. All right.
Did you live close to there?
No, but I know where that is. From the 35-yard line. We had a lot of players from Oakland in the Wisconsin area. Banaszak, Casper. That pass intended for Lofton at the 45-yard line, and he had something on that one. Pat Thomas defending on the play. Who'd you have? You had Banaszak from Crivets.
From Crivets. Jim Otto from Wausau. Casper was from Chilton.
Yeah.
Chilton.
So you had a Wisconsin flavor to that football team.
Wisconsin was very good to me.
And you were not too good to them. I remember a couple of games, and I remember again that Jack Tatum play that broke George Halas's record.
Right, yeah, that was an option down in the goal line that Jack picked up and ran all the way the other way.
And that was when the muff rule came into play. Remember that game?
A lot of rules come into play after we did.
That's right. Third down, 10 yards to go. Dickey to Lofton, and Lofton has it. A nice catch. A flag on the play. That's very close to the first down. Pat Thomas defending. That was a heck of a catch by Lofton. He had Thomas all over him. I don't know what the flag's all about.
It wasn't something that happened before the throw. It looked like the flag was thrown after the completion.
Well, we'll find out.
Interference, number 27, defense, decline. First down.
So they had enough for the first down on the catch, so they refuse a penalty. Let's look at it again. This again
that
shows
was a late
hands.
flag because he caught the ball and then it was thrown down. As we see it here again, he can't touch the man before the ball gets there, but that looked pretty close.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway. They refuse the penalty at the 48-yard line, first down. But again, Lofton showing excellent hands that time. Larry McCarron has come back into center, replacing Wellman. First down for Dickey. He rifles another shot. This is Andre Thompson, and he has it at the 45. Boy, you could see Thomas laying in wait for that. He saw the goal line on that play, didn't he?
He's waiting, and Pat Thomas is someone that you don't throw an awful lot of those out there on him, because you may get one, you may get two, but if you try it a third time, it'll go the other way.
Let's check that Dallas-Tampa Bay game. Look at that, the Cowboys. That's a lot of points to score against the Buccaneers.
Right, everyone thought that would be a real defensive struggle.
See Oakland now leading Washington 17-14. Joe Theismann just scored on a 4-yard run. Second down, 3 yards to go. In motion, Andre Thompson. Dickey kind of cranking it up a little bit. That one's broken up by the on-rushing lineman. Big number 95, Phil Murphy. They really like him. Look how big he is. He's out of South Carolina State, and he was the guy, I believe, that batted that ball down.
Don Klosterman was telling me about him. He says that he's another one that's really coming, and they think that, you know, he's so big and strong. Of course, he doesn't have a lot of experience, but he's learning. And again, when you're that big and you can just get your hand up in front of a quarterback, that's like throwing out of a tunnel.
He had, what, 15 picks in the early rounds this year in the draft. They had 3 number 3 picks, and one of them was Murphy, third choice in the 3rd round. And they like him. Dickey is buried. Reggie Doss over the back. That's 4 sacks in the game now. This team last year had 52, which led the NFC. They had 4 coming into this game, so in one game they've matched the output of their previous 2 games. Dickey getting up a little slow on that play.
You know, sometimes when you have players hold out, as the Rams did, Jack Youngblood really didn't come to training camp. Sometimes that gives other players a chance for exposure, and they come along. I know when we had the players strike, that we had a lot of players come in and come on as a result of that. And Reggie Doss is doing that for the Rams.
Here's Beverly, who's been superb. This time hitting it very high. Irvin calling for the fair catch. He's going to let it hit, though, and they have another excellent kick at the 5.5-yard line, a 45-yarder. And David Beverly has put on a clinic here today. He has kicked the ball as well as anybody's ever going to kick it. He's done it all.
He's one bright spot for the Green Bay Packers today.
And you can see that he kind of enjoys this warm weather. You want to get your averages up early in the year, because when it gets cold, that football doesn't go as far, does it?
No, and they all think about that too. They know more about weather than weathermen on television. They know wind and rain and snow and everything.
Some weathermen on television I don't think know that much about weather, but we won't get into that. That's a 49.8 average now for Beverly in the game. Thomas may have gotten a yard, and that's all. Michael Hunt over there as you look at Rutledge. Rutledge had quite a career at Alabama. He broke Joe Namath's record for touchdown passes. He threw 30 of them. And anybody that plays under the Bear, pretty good football player.
I had a couple of them. I had Kenny Stabler, of course, and then I had George Blanda. But both of those players have played under the Bear.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. Los Angeles 51, Green Bay 7. We now pause for a word from your local station.
It's breathtaking, it's dazzling, it's unbelievable. It's special effects The Empire Strikes Back with host Mark Hamill, Monday at 8/7 Central and Mountain.
This is CBS.